Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Friday night after party, and welcome, Brianna, once again. Very glad to have you here. And it looks like there's a party going on in the background. I like that a lot.
I have these fairy lights. I'm a big fan of fairy lights, so I'm in my living room today. Hopefully, it'll stay quiet. If I have to move somewhere else, I may.
Well, I like the party look. I like the party look.
Yeah.
Today, I am feeling like completely scatterbrained and chaotic. If you are with me for the live show in the morning, which I want to talk more about later on, but if you were here for the live show, you know that I said that I lost my internet this morning. I didn't have internet last night, and I was like, I will hope I have internet tomorrow for the live show and then tonight's live show as well, the morning live show. Woke up actually early, was going to try to set up a camera for a physical book flip through, and realized, oh, no internet. And so instead, I took all that prep time. I drove about 40 minutes to Starbucks, put all my gear in a bag, and then drove Starbucks. And I did manage to start the live show only like 3 minutes late, but didn't really work. It was kind of funny. I was trying to go outside of Starbucks, and they had a speaker going, and people in the comments were going, I think I can hear the Grinch in the background. And they were already playing Christmas music, and I was having all kinds of problems. I mean, it did work. We talked for about 15 minutes, but I gotta work on my mobile setup.
It's funny how opposite where we live is, because I think my nearest Starbucks is 2 minutes away, maybe 5. I'm in a city. Nice. Yeah. But
there are a lot of things I liked about living in the country. But there are some disadvantages, and that is one of them. See, we got some more people here. Ryan, good evening. Ryan says good evening. Yes. RM. And then also she is in the chat with us. Yes. She is from the Positive Fandom YouTube channel. You should definitely check that out. She has done a live stream with us on one of the one of the panel shows that we did. It's here on this channel where we talked about, I think, were we talking about the feminine or the masculine in that show? Because we talked about both. I don't
remember. We were talking.
We might have been talking about masculinity. Yeah, we might have been talking about masculinity in that show. And then she and I had a one-on-one, which is also.
I think we were talking about female characters.
Oh, was another one on the feminine?
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. Then she and I also did an individual or a one-on-one live stream where we talked about the state of fandom today, geekdom, fandom, and the philosophy of positive fandom, because there's a whole lot of negativity out there in today's world. And some of it's justified. I mean, we can not like things that are going on. A lot of us don't. But on the other hand, here on this channel, we try to be constructive because we are creators and we're trying to build something. And so definitely check her out on her channel, and then also check out our conversations here on this channel. Jenny says meow. Welcome, Jenny. She says, I missed it last time. What type of pet lizard do you have? They look
Left Spin already answered.
Yep, we got a bearded dragon right here.
Yes, his name is Levi. It's short for Leviathan. That's the name of my bearded dragon.
And then also Flynn says he loves the name. Okay, so let's bring up. It is a great name. I like it too. I like Levi.
I spent a long time thinking. I was like, I had to find the right name, and that was the one.
All right,
it was going to be that or Apophis.
I'm going to drop.
I'll probably save that if I ever get a snake one day, though. I will name the snake Apophis.
Let's go over here and let's start. There's a lot that we want to say about this, I think. I was remembering all kinds of things as we were going through this as well. All right, here we go.
Something is seriously wrong with Mike. I think something happened to his fish friend.
Of course, that's his Rob's drinking horn, which it was originally supposed to be a shell, but I could not find a shell. We were going to have him drinking out of a shell, according to the original script.
Yeah, but I forgot about that. That was what that's what we put in the script.
But I could not find a shell. I mean, that would have been
big, cool. Like a big shell. Yeah, that would have been so perfect.
That would have been very Rob. But this became very iconically Rob too. I just had this around the house, of course, and so this became iconically Rob's drinking horn.
Mike, can I come in?
I guess.
Hey, you want to talk?
It's Rob. He's gone. He went to be with the deep ones under the waves.
It wasn't your fault.
So we were both, while we were watching this, we were both talking about this a little bit, and I like how we got our tone here, because this is obviously the saddest part of the show so far, and there's a lot of, it's a bit of a downer, and we're kind of processing things that have changed here, but it never gets completely sad, because this is a comedy, and so even though it's like this is a sad moment, it's also pretty ridiculous. Like, he's gone beneath the waves. Like, what are you talking about? So that was definitely something that was intentional. We've got the sad, it's because it's still comedy, so it's never going to get too sad.
But
although some comedies do. I guess it's just not the tone of this comedy, I should say.
Some do, but we talked a lot about how in season 2 we are dealing with a much wider range of emotion because of this than in season 1. So we are dealing with this potentially serious situation. Like, what they're going on, mom, there's something she knows her kids are involved in this weird, or her kid is involved in this weird stuff. Something may have actually happened to one of the friends as a result of it. So we've got, of course, the comedy, but we have the serious aspect about, what is my kid involved in? And then we also have the very sad aspect with what everybody's going through about what has happened to Rob here.
Okay, what has happened to Rob? So yeah, there's a lot of it's just like this season kind of goes deeper, I guess.
It does.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
We pushed ourselves in a lot of ways, and one of them was the range of emotions.
I think the talent, the actors all really enjoyed that, or at least I remember Peter commenting on that, playing like really liking being able to have more depth in this season. I think he was looking forward to that.
Heather does also appreciate the name.
Thank you. I pet names have to be. I'm very serious about my pet names. I once had a fish named Ozymandias. It's a reference from poetry.
Left Spin asks how much calendar time elapsed between season 1 and season 2.
It's a good question.
Did we really officially establish that?
I think we actually no wait. I think we did. I think it's like 2 weeks. I think is what we established, because it has to do with his brand or something like that. Because his brand is still pretty fresh, so it hasn't been too long. It hasn't healed really. So maybe arguably it's less than that. But I know we've said it wasn't more than that.
I think that I don't think we set a specific amount of time, but it was specifically supposed to be a few days up to 2 weeks, but not more than that, because Rob's brand is still fresh. He's still dealing with the psychological trauma of what happened to him with the branding. So it hasn't been all that long. The Dad Gamer says, how's it going? Welcome. Glad to have you here. It's going pretty good. We're having a lot of fun here. This is a great stream. Welcome, everybody.
It is fun. I look forward to it.
And good to see you. Yeah, this is fun. You give us energy. Like I was saying, I get energy out of this. And I hope you do too, Brianna. And I hope everybody watching does too, because I get energy from everybody commenting and things like that. I hope everybody's having a better day because they've watched these streams. That's part of it. All right, so let's keep going.
There's nothing that you could have done.
I don't know how I'm going to go on without him.
I know.
He's free now.
He's swimming with the fishes.
There's your Godfather reference.
Yes.
Brianna and I have been doing a lot of study of The Godfather, because like I said, we've been talking to each other about storytelling and our story development over the week. So we've actually been studying The Godfather. But there we go. That's why I went. It's perfect, right?
I've been really deeply, intensely studying corruption arcs for no particular reason. Of course, no, because I'm writing one.
I'm not sure. I remember I wrote that. I'm not sure if you got it when I originally put it in.
I didn't know that was I didn't know that was from The Godfather. I knew I've heard that before. It's so interesting how influential that movie is, like there's a lot of quotes that was like, oh, I didn't know that was from The Godfather.
Yeah. Now, actually, I don't know, and maybe somebody in the chat does, because I associated that with a mob thing. Actually, I didn't know it was. I didn't know when I wrote it that it was immediately a Godfather thing. It's I associate it with a mob thing. That means that you're going to be, your feet are going to be encased in concrete and you're going to be thrown off of a bridge and you're going to go sleep with the fish. But I'm not sure which came first, the mob reference or Godfather, if it came through. Flynn says, we've been deeply studying. Yes. Ryan says, same thoughts.
Glad we're all on the same page right now. That's good.
Oh my God. I've got to call that boy's parents.
We thought that scene with Mother was very important because that is someone who's having a serious reaction. Like, she finds out, because Dad goes up there, she finds that what's actually happened to him is Rob, is he's jumped in this lake and then he has not come back. So he could have drowned out there. Who knows? Okay. Everybody else has kind of a comedic response to that.
She's the one person that responds in like a normal way.
Right. But we thought that it was important to have somebody respond in something that is a normal way. Right. Yeah.
Because she is that main person of the normal world. So that would be appropriate for her to do that.
Now, this scene right here, well, we'll play it, then we'll talk. But here we go to this scene. I thought that was a very emotional scene. And that was, I believe, actually the very first scene of season 2 that was ever shot.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, we had him come to your house, and then
that's my bathroom. I was going to say.
Did a few other scenes with him at your house that day, but yeah, that was the first thing. Yep.
Yeah, because we've got some that are shot in my gaming room. We've got some that are shot in my living room. But I believe the very first shoot day of season 2, very first scene shot was this scene of Ben right here. Glenn came in. And I do love it. I think it was done very well because, Rob had given him that pin in the last episode as the final farewell before he went and jumped in the lake. And now we're seeing Ben trying to be brave and trying to take on something of Rob's leadership role, or at least whatever this
right. But he's not ready yet. He can't take it on yet.
He's not ready yet. It remembers he remembers Rob when he touches the pen.
Whenever I see this scene, I immediately think of that day he had his girlfriend over on set, and it was so cute. She was sitting there watching. It was pretty adorable.
That's right.
Having a fun time. Yeah.
His girlfriend was on set this time, so she got to do actually some of the clacker.
Oh yeah. We let her do some of the behind the scenes stuff.
And so she got a mug and everything because she actually became a crew member because she actually did some actual crew stuff. But yeah, his girlfriend came and she was great on set. So she was actually a crew member for the show.
Impromptu.
Because of that. And so it's so good that we are getting to see Leon Skye here. So we're seeing Skye as a musician. We said that he's the one who created the theme song at the end of each episode. He recorded that. He wrote that and then recorded it. And then we gave him the idea here that who's the character? Dave. That Dave is upset and he's trying to deal with the loss of Rob. Right. And so all of the lyrics here and the music here is all of his. So we basically just turned him loose on this. And then this is what he came up with, saying that what Dave would have written for Rob. All of the lyrics and the music.
Yeah.
The lines we still wrote, but the lyrics.
Yes. We still wrote the lines.
Yeah.
It's not the same without Rob, dude. Ever since he left us, I've been leaning more into my music, you know? Music, man, heals the soul. It's healing my soul. We've even decided to rename the band in honor of Rob. We're calling it Big Daddy Dagon. The Deep Ones.
I love that band name. I think
that's because you came up with it.
I know. Yes, I know. I can completely see what Big Daddy Dagon and the Deep Ones would be like as like a rock band. I actually think that was something that was from season 1. I think we had Big Daddy Dagon and the Deep Ones.
That had to be moved to see. Our original version of season 1 was way too long, way too much, too many things were happening. So we moved a bunch into season 2.
Yeah,
and some of it into the written but unproduced season 3 as well.
Yeah, season 3 scripts are written, and some of that still has stuff that we came up with for season 1. But yeah, Big Daddy Dagon and the Deep Ones. I mean, that deserves, like, if I were a musician, like, I could dominate rock space with a name like that.
Things we do for the Deep Ones' embrace. Sacrifice written on our face.
And that was just like that was the take. It was so sweet. That was just something that he did in that one take. And it was like, oh, we're keeping that one. And I want to make another side note because I was just remembering that the order of events here that happens, it's different from how we wrote it. I actually don't remember how we wrote it, but that was something that we discovered in the edit, Brendan and I, that like the timing, sometimes it's interesting because you write things in a script and it makes sense emotionally, but then when you put it all together in a timeline, it doesn't necessarily. So there was something in the pacing where I think we ended up, all these people, all the scenes of them reacting to Rob's absence were not all together at first, and so we ended up moving them so that it had a better like emotional arc. It might have been, I'm trying to remember, I think we had something that happened after this next scene with Ben encountering Steve, because that was like a moment when it shifts, when you feel like, oh, okay, now the tone is shifting. So just something interesting that, like, things
I was going to
around.
say, that there were some scenes that were shot for this episode that became deleted scenes, which we do have the deleted scenes. So we are going to show the deleted scenes after that. So you will see the deleted scenes. But you're right. I remember watching this later. I was like, wait a minute, we lost some episodes. But you and Brennan's the director of photography who also works on the editing, that you and he had worked together and said, okay, wait a minute, we actually have to cut some scenes here because of the emotional flow of the scene. I remember that.
Of the episode, yeah.
Yeah.
We did like a couple different versions and we were like comparing them to see which one worked better. And
yeah. And I was hoping that you picked up on that, because I distinctly remember when we were going through dailies or something like that, when you said there was only, because we did several takes of this, because like I said, the dialogue is part of the script, but all of his lyrics and his music, we let him go. And I remember we did several takes and just let Sky get into character and do what he wanted to do, and gave us several different versions of this. And then I remember you saying that one right there, where we're looking at the scene right there, where he leans down on his guitar like that he only did that in one take. And you said in one of the takes that we shot, and you said that has to be it. That's the one that expresses the emotion that you wanted.
Yeah.
Now, Cypop says stretch goal for Game Found campaign digital soundtrack. Okay, let me talk about that for a second, because people had asked, especially on season 1, can we get the full version of the song? And we shot the material for a music video.
Oh, I forgot we did that
for this. And so we were trying to shoot a music video to go along with a full version of the song. And we were trying to get a full version of the song from Sky, but Sky came in late and said he saved us early in season 1 by coming in at the last minute saying, I got the song, here it is. But then he was trying to produce a full version of the song, and he said, I don't have the recording equipment. Like, what's going on here is not working. I can't send this out.
He had a technical, I think it was like he didn't have access to things that he had before or something. And
something like that. And he was
logistical issue.
Yeah. And he was saying, I can't send it out. So we do still have that footage someplace. I mean, it's on our hard drives and stuff like that. And if we were able to go on to season 3, I think we should try that again. Because I know people do want
people like the music.
Yeah, have something like that for
we need to see if we can get him to come on one of these.
I want him to. I was hoping. I put out a call to other ones. Like, we should.
Maybe the time doesn't work for people, but
maybe it doesn't. The Cultist music video, exactly. And then Sci-Pop, maybe just a fictional cover cover of the In-World Band. Well, that becomes, if we get to season 3, that becomes even more significant. So,
zip.
Sounds like something that should happen. Yep. You guys are on to something here. All right. So going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't believe he's actually gone.
Steve? That's my spot!
Oh, yeah? Well, why don't you come over here and do something about it? That was my addition. I don't know why I thought from the very beginning that when Steve does that, he needs to be like a rat coming out, I was envisioning some type of psychotic rat coming after him.
That's pretty much describes Steve.
Yeah. Thinking back on that, I wish that I had done that during practice, and we got such a great reaction now because Glenn was not expecting that. Who was playing?
Oh yeah, he laughed,
and he laughed completely. And so I was like, now as an actor, I'm like, okay, so maybe I should have held that back from the practice run through, and of course I don't think he would have laughed if the cameras were rolling. We could have gotten a more genuine, a different. I don't know. I was thinking about that.
It would have made a good blooper at least.
Yeah. But then we get a very different, as soon as he's gone, we get a very sad, depressed.
Can't believe I ran from Steve.
And we saw, what Steve was actually doing underneath this bridge. And you can see all of Steve's homeless stuff in different ones. He's got his altar set up and everything like that. I always set that up behind me and stuff like that, so you can see it there in the screen in different takes, I think.
Steve, Rob wouldn't have done that. I'm an embarrassment to him. Can't let that happen again.
And so this is where the shift happens.
Right.
Before he wasn't strong enough, but now he has his motivation.
We are seeing great character development. Right. Yeah. On the part of Ben here, which is more, the different ranges and things like that we were doing.
Yeah, this is an important moment for him.
It's a very important
goofy as
moment.
it is. It's very important for his character.
If you're coming in, I'm just going to drop in the comments one more time. The War of Kings, that's the board game we're giving away. So if you are coming in and you have not signed up yet, I just put the War of Kings sign up in the comments again. But yes, this is a very significant moment for character development right here. Like, what is he going to do about this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Wait.
See, I feel like this might have been one of the scenes that was in a different order. I can't remember exactly how it was, but something tells me.
I think you'll remember the stuff that was deleted, especially when we do the deleted scenes after this. But okay, now, if you've watched the episode already, you know what's going to happen at the end of this scene, right?
Oh, I see what you're about to say.
Right, yeah. So I was like,
no, don't show them. Don't draw attention to them. Just keep playing. They won't see. I'm kidding. Do you see the fish?
Yeah. So that was so obviously, you do multiple takes of everything, of course. And so, of course, we tried to set up this altar really great. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. So down beneath it, of course, are the rubber fish. And of course, the rubber fish get used And then after several takes, the rubber fish some of them were in a state of disrepair. But here is a fish. David May says, it's been fun. I have to go. I start work in 10 minutes. Oh, well, enjoy work. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming in, David. I really appreciate having you here. Good luck at work. I hope it goes all right for you. And you have a good day. Thank you, David. But yeah, but that's still not a problem in universe, because we know that Dave uses the fish as weapons because he used them against Steve.
That is true.
In,
so maybe we'll just say it broke then.
Yeah, it broke then, right? But I do think it's funny that when you look at this, you see one of them a taped together fish, a janky fish right here. But all the fish are pointed toward that bird feeder that has been used as an altar. Very worshipful, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then when you go up here, of course, you have the idol of Cthulhu. Oh, which I have right here. Here is our idol of Cthulhu, which was created in season 1 by Ben. This is our actual idol right here. And, oh, by the way, here is a stretch goal for the Game Found campaign that I have already had this sculpted by a digital artist, because we just sculpted this physically, but I gave this to a digital artist and I had this sculpted. So I have the digital file so that we can create a foam squishy of the actual Cthulhu idol.
I want one.
I know. So if we get to enough funding, we'll be able to actually put this into production, and you'll have a foam throwable Cthulhu idol just like this. I put
so you can use it in case you ever encounter any Steves.
Exactly. You can throw it at Steve. You can hit him with fish, and you can throw him at this. I really hope we get to produce this too, because I would love for people who are fans of the Cultists to be able to have this
all for themselves.
Yep, all for themselves. So I just put those paper plates there in order to bulk it up, because I wasn't sure what the angle. When I'm out there as the producer, but then also like trying to set things up and things like that, whatever role that is, I was like, I realized if you set this down in the bird feeder, you don't actually see it. I wasn't sure what kind of angle there was. And so I set those down so that it would get up higher, but now you actually see the paper plates.
We are from up high. Oh, that must have been a miscommunication.
Well, I don't know. I guess I envisioned it more side to side, and I was like, oh my God, you can't see it. So that's why we put it up, but I don't think that's a problem at all. Left Spin says Cthulhu stress ball. That's exactly what it could be. You could also have a Cthulhu stress ball. And then, of course, that is the exact same pool noodle that Rob has in season 1, episode 5, when he chases off the cult of Shub. It is the exact same noodle, right? Yep.
I just called it a poodle. That's good.
Access Your Inner Light says you're the set designer too. Yeah. So basically, I'm the writer. I was the prop master, but also basically the what is that? Wait, it's not production designer. The production designer. Yeah. So
he was the head of the art department, essentially.
I was head of the art department. Yep.
And most of the art department.
and most of the art department, but Carol was also part of the art department with me for this time, and of course, Megan is also who you're about to see is the police officer. Megan is also our costume.
I think every single person that was like a major, consistent crew member also appears on screen at some point in season 1 or season 2, except for Carol, because she specifically did not want to be on camera.
Carol specifically does not want to be on camera. Yep. So you don't see her. Production designer, art director, but production designer. Production designer would be at the top. Yep, exactly. Left Spin, production designer, production assistant. Yep.
We've come here today to celebrate the life of our friend.
We got the witches. The witches are back.
They have come. They have come.
They are come. They are part of this. Here they are.
Rob.
God, we did so many takes of this.
But she still hasn't gotten any better. The coffee pour, her poor rendition of hot cross buns. This one's because there were a lot of angles too. That was
that's partly why we did it so many times, because there were so many different. Each angle you see, we did the entire scene multiple times to make sure we had enough coverage.
So I was hanging out down there. I was hanging out down there in the drain pipe.
Yeah, he did that. He physically crawled all that way over and over.
Oh, that was right, because because I had to go back to that drain pipe, get out of that drain pipe.
We had to get your timing just right. Yeah.
And that was it's actually a long crawling distance in order to get there. But I crawled that many times. I was definitely soaking wet and muddy after, because there were many times.
You, bro.
I love pouring one out for Rob like that, out of his horn and the coffee, because that's what they drink.
I can't believe he's gone.
I should have done something. Something more. Something sooner. This is my fault.
It's not your fault, Mike. We all knew that Rob was meant for truly great things.
Yeah, he was.
He was the best of us. Best cultist ever.
Now he's...
You will note that the witches have brooms. We made that comment in the commentary on season 1. I don't know why we didn't think about the witches having brooms in season 1, but they didn't. But I made brooms for them for season 2. And so obviously now they've got brooms that fit their personalities. A crooked black broom for Shay, and then a very classic.
They love them too.
Colonial broom. Yeah, for again.
Swimming. His dream. What could he wish for a friend?
Never be as good as he was. But I'll try. Steve! Stop it, Steve! I was just hungry.
Steve got very close right there.
Very close. Almost. Oh, the horror.
Almost.
He's trying to steal our donuts, man. What are we gonna do?
I call for a crusade against Steve!
You know, I should say, now that I'm thinking about it, we didn't do the entire scene at every single one of those angles. If you're paying close attention, there are quite a few of them. Some of them are just partial, like some of the ones facing Ben we just did that for Ben's coverage. So yeah, just a random side note there.
It's very significant that he picks up Rob's weapon.
Oh, yes.
To do this with. And then there were several scenes where I threw the donut like that.
There were quite a few different versions of that fall.
Die, Steve!
They were hitting you so hard. I think we had to, especially when one of them broke, we were like, okay, let's not hit him quite as hard. We want it to still look like you're hitting him hard, but you can pull back a little bit, guys.
Right.
So we had to adjust.
It's not like it was painful because it was all foam. But
it was mainly about making sure our props survived.
Right. Yeah, exactly. When the fish started breaking and the props started breaking down, we were like, okay, hold on. We're going to have to do something about this because we got several still takes to go through here.
Hey!
What?
Stop that!
So that's Megan.
That was
Stop that!
What I burst into laughter watching this before that I completely forgot was our BDSM joke about how the one person doesn't run away from getting tied up.
That's right. So Megan is played the police officer here. She's heavily involved in the theater. She is the costume designer for this entire show. So she's the one who sewed all the costumes together and things like that. So all the costuming was on her for the show. Then she also showed up and played the police officer. And of course, she is also my co-host on Dinner and a Board Game, which is also on this.
And she's also now wife to Brennan.
That's right. She's my oldest cousin. And she is now married to Brennan, who was the director of photography on this. So Brennan is the camera operator, the director of photography for this whole thing, and then also was a major part of the editing for all of this as well. Yes. So they weren't married during this, but then a few months later they got married. Yep. That happened several times too.
Yes. Oh, and so there's like, it's faked him actually falling when he fell he was falling onto like a mattress that was out of frame.
Yep. When she tackles him, we had an air mattress that was actually there. So she came up and tackled him onto an air mattress. All right. That's season 2, episode 5. I love that one. We're
halfway through the season.
Yeah. And there's a lot. I mean, things are kicking up in the season as well. All right. Well, we should talk later about like the adventurer's life, because we were talking about, I posted on Instagram, I was going out for hikes and things like that. And we're trying to do that too. But I think we are
gotta come here to Colorado. There's lots of good hikes.
Well, yeah, I know. I was thinking about that going hiking in Colorado, I've got to come up and visit Colorado. That's on the list of things to do. Hopefully soon. Before, it would be great if everything would go right with Ritual and we'd be able to do it. I'd be able to go up to Colorado. Then later next year,
we've already got snow here.
Cultists. You already have snow?
Oh yeah, as of today.
When I lived in Buffalo, New York, I always tried to get through Thanksgiving before snow. I thought it would be good. So you have pre-Thanksgiving.
Oh, we get snow early, but it always melts pretty fast. We usually don't get like buried in snow. So.
All right. Well, I guess that's just about it. Thank you everybody for being here. I have really enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun. And I hope that I've gotten a lot of energy from everybody who's been in the comments. You guys are wonderful. Congratulations again to Andrew. I'm going to try to wind down but we'll be back at it tomorrow morning for the next live show at 9:30. I hope to see you all. Thank you all.